Alright, here we are. Open the Unreal Engine 5, and then the first thing we need to do is we have to create a new project here. So right now I am using the Unreal Engine 5 5.7 version, and I do recommend that you use the same version as me or above. So alright, let's go into this game section, select this, and after that click this VTail template because it has pre-built setup that we needed. And now over here, make sure to select blueprint. Target platform should be desktop, quality preset should be maximum, and variant should be time trial. And after that, here we have the project name, and you can rename your project by whatever you want. I'll say something like Racing Game. And after that, here's the project location. Wherever you want to save it, you can click this browse button and save the project. And after all this, let's create this create button. And here we go, we have pre-built resin thread environment here you can see. And now let's play this button, and here we are, we can play the game as we want it. Yeah, it's looking perfectly fine. We can play this game by WASD game, sorry, WASD button. Here we are. Now let me press escape D to exit my game mode. Yeah, it's looking perfectly fine, but we have another map because of the variant where we selected time trial. So let's open the content browser, and inside this folder maps, and select this. And inside this we can see we have a whole racetrack. And if we play the game, here we can see we have a timer, speed, and some checkpoints too. That comes pre-built with this template. Yeah. So now we'll make some enemy avatars that we can race with. Without enemy avatars, we are alone in the whole environment. So without any further delay, let's get started. So to create our avatars, let's open the content browser, and inside this go inside this VTail template and blueprints, sports car, and here we have this sports car. Now what I'll do is we'll duplicate this sport car and make a child car. So for that, select this and hold Ctrl and D to duplicate this, and I'll rename it by enemy AI, and I'll go inside this, and here you can see we have this parent class, and we have the whole logic of this blueprint inside this vehicle pawn base. So let me click this, I don't know what's the problem. Here we are. Sorry, I was clicking this button, but we have to click this search button. Now here we have this vital pawn base, and inside this we have the whole logic that we needed. But for now, let's go back to our enemy AI blueprint. And here we'll add a node which is called event begin play. So for that, let me right click anywhere here and search for event begin play. Here we are. And after this, we'll connect this node to vital movement. So here we have this vital movement, and I'll write this here. Here we have this vital movement. Why we dreaded this thing? Because it controls all the movements. And after that, we'll connect node to set throttle input, and we'll also connect this event play begin play to this. Why we add throttle input? Because it controls the acceleration, how much race or how much speed you want to give it. So here we'll set something like 0.5 value. Yeah, like this. And that's a good value at beginning. when engine starts. And after that, we'll connect this vital movement to set steering input node. We'll read this and connect this set steering input. And we'll also connect this output to this set in steering input. I'll double click this to move this line little bit downward. And by the name steering, you can guess why we added this node, because it simply controls the steering to move it left and right direction. But for now, we'll set it to something like 1 iris. Yeah, like this. Now after all this, we'll test this logic and we'll see if it's working or not. For now, let's compile this and let's come back to our time trial. And here we'll read our blueprint any AI that we just created. And we are going to add somewhere like here. Yeah, here we'll read our new AI blueprint that we just created. And we'll rotate it something like on the z-axis. Yeah, like this. It's perfectly fine. Now we'll play the game and see. Yeah, here you can see it's moving. Yeah, it's working perfectly fine, but obviously it's not what we want. We'll fix this issue later on, but now we need a track spline to move our AI car on the road with perfect direction. Without a spline track, our AI car won't move on the perfect direction as we wanted. So for that, let's open the content browser and create a new folder. Let me click this and let's make a new folder here. Right click, create a new folder, and I'll rename it by spline track, and I'll go inside this. And inside this, we'll add a blueprint class. So right click, go to this blueprint class and add an ata blueprint class, and we'll call this bp underscore track spline, and we'll go inside this. And here we'll add a spline. So for that, go into this add button and search for spline and add this, and I'll keep the name as it is. So now let's compile this, and we have nothing to do here, anything else, but close it now and come back to this time trial. And here we'll read the blueprint spline thread that we just created here. And here we can see we have these 2 points, and this is the starting and this is the ending point. Now let's select this end point and move it here like this, and then press the end key. Also make sure to select this and press the end key. Yeah, like this. Now we have to hold alt and then we have to move it like this with left mouse button. Then we can create new points here, and make sure to click END key on your keyboard after you're done with creating a new point. So by end key, it will snap it into the ground, which is a very important, because otherwise control of the car will be a very confusing for the AI car. So now let's do this process again. Let's hold alt and left mouse button to create a new point, and then press in key and do this again. And now for the teaching purpose, I'm not good with this thing, but you have to be careful while making this track. Yeah, like this. Now I'll repeat the whole process to build the thread. Perfect. Now it's done. Now all we need is our AI car should follow this thread and move accordingly. So for that, let's come back to our AI blueprint that we created. And here we'll add a function. So in these functions, we'll add a new function here, and we're gonna call this follow thread spline. And here we go. And after that, we'll select this, and here we'll add an input here, and we'll call this spline thread. And I'll select here, and for the reference to follow, we'll select here bp underscore thread spline and object reference. Perfect. Now here we'll connect this node to spline thread to get spline. Here we are. And after that, we'll connect this to find tangent closest to world location. And this will give us the direction where we have to steer. And if you place the car on racetrack spline, the tangent tells you which way the car should be facing to follow the thread. And make sure to change the coordinate space local to world, and connect this world location to get at the location. And for the return value of this tangent world location, we'll connect this to normalize. and after that we'll connect this return value to multiply. And right click here on the value and convert this to float, and set up value something like here 500, and then we'll connect this node to add, and also we will connect this return value to return value of date at we have to connect this node to date at location. Here we can directly connect this point to this date at the location. We don't need to add another one. So let's delete this. Now what we are going to do is now we will connect this node to find location closest to world location, and we'll connect this add node to this world location. Also make sure to select this coordinate space to world, and after that we'll connect this return value to find location find lot at rotation at rotation. And here we'll connect this return value to target node with the start, and for the start we'll connect this node to date at the location with this pin that we created. And after that we will connect this return value of find lot at rotation to delta rotator like this, and for the B we'll connect this to date at the location again like this. We don't need to connect this node with this. We'll disconnect this node. We can add this node to date at the rotation, like this. Now we'll right click on this return value and we'll click this split strut pin. And so basically we want to move our steering to left or right, not upward or downward. So we'll connect this x-axis to map range clamped, and here we have to select the ranges, like we'll set something like -90, and then we'll select something like 90, and then -1, and then 1. And for the return value we need an output. So for that let's let this follow thread spline. Let me compile this first, and then let's here add a output, and I'm going to call this steering, and select the variable type to float, and let's compile this. And now we'll drag this till the end, right here, and we'll connect this return value to this steering. So now we are done with steering. Maybe you guys are a little confused here, but believe me, everything alright. It happens at the beginning stage, things go over your brain, but you will understand everything little by little. So now let's compile this and come back to our event graph. And here we'll right click anywhere here and we'll add a node event tick. And we'll connect this node to follow thread spline. And after that, what we'll do is we'll disconnect this node here and connect this node to this follow thread spline. And of course we need the same target for this set string input. Yeah, like this. And we'll also turn this steering to steering. And now of course we need a spline thread. So for that, connect this set throttle input to get actor of class, get actor of class, and then here we'll select BP thread spline. Here we have. After that, we'll right click here on the return value and promote this to variable. And I'm going to call this BP thread spline. And after that, we'll drag this and connect this to follow spline track. Now let's compile this and check it out if it's working or not. Yeah, it's working. As you can see, it's working perfectly fine. Our enemy area is following our spline thread that we created. But here it's we set up the our spline thread to this position, and after that our AI will move randomly. But yeah, it's working perfectly fine as we thought of it. Everything is working out fine and fit. Now I want my AI to move faster than me, so I'll increase the time. So when we play the game, here we can see we have the timer. It starts from 3 to 1. So I will increase the timer from 3 to 5 seconds so AI can start the engine and move before us. So for that, let's open the content browser and go inside this Vital time trial UI and UI start. And here we'll select this graph, and here you can see we have time start from 2, but here the first 3 will display and after that time will start. But now I want to start it from 4. So we need to set here something like 5, and then we will make some space here. Like this. Now what I'll do is, you can see here we can start with from 2, but we wanted to start it from 4. So let's add 2 more points here and switch the points. And I'll add 2 more points, and after that I'll disconnect this and connect this to this one and disconnect this to connect this to this one. And also I'll do the same thing with here. Yeah, now we have these 2 points, and here I'll select this and make this 4, and I'm gonna make this 3. After that I'll duplicate this node, and then I'll make this to 2, and then I'll connect this, and we also need to make sure to connect this output to this node. After that I'll duplicate once more time, and here we need to connect this node to this, and I'll make sure to make this one and connect this node to this. Yeah, we are done. Now let's check if it's working or not. Sorry. Yeah, it just started from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's play one more time. Yeah, as you can see, when we hit 3, our enemy aircraft is moving forward, and after that we'll chase our car. At this moment we don't have a spline thread built, but we'll build it later on. But for now it's perfectly fine. Now after this, we have to set some of the other things. Apart from all this, as you can see, the car models we have by default, they don't look that much red as we want it to be. So now we'll import the car models from the sketchfab. So for that, let's go to the internet and here search for sketchfab website. And as we know, we can download free and paid models from sketchfab, but for now I'll try to download free models. So we need a car model. So I'll search for something like Lamborghini. And after this, you can go with any one of this, but I'll go with this Lamborghini Revelto. Now I'll scroll down a bit and let it reload first. Yeah, I'll scroll down, and after that we'll click this download 3D model, and we'll make sure to download this GLB model. But I already downloaded it, so I don't need to download again. So after downloading this model, we have to merge the parts of car because every part of the car is separated, and I'll make sure to attach the updated file with this video. And even you don't need to download the model from Sketchfab. I'm just showing you the process how to download any model from Sketchfab. I'll make sure to provide you the link of updated merge part of car model in the resource tab. But for now we are done with everything that we needed. Now we'll continue to do remaining stuff. Now we are done with Lamborghini, but still we also want in other car model. So that will be our AI. So for that, let's search on this sketchfab, and I'll search for something. Yeah, this URUS, and after that I selected this model because it's look nice for me. Black and white shade with red lights. Yeah, it's looking perfect, I guess. And it's the same process. You can download this with original format FBX, but will not download it. And you can go with any other model if you want. Now the both parts are separated. I'll merge the parts in Blender. If you know how to use Blender, then you can do this process by your own self. You can do it manually. But if you don't know how to use Blender, then I'll make sure to add the updated file of both cars in the resource tab, and you have to make sure you will download it. Yeah, we are done with everything. Now we'll open our Unreal Engine project, and we'll open the content browser, and here we'll make a new folder, and I'll call this car models, and we'll go inside this. Now I'll make another folder inside this. I'll write something Lamborghini, and I'll go inside this, and here I'll read the car model file which I just exported from my Blender. Yeah, after reading the Lamborghini GLB file, we just need to click this import button. So here the import is done. Now we'll go inside this Lamborghini, and after this we'll go inside this static mesh. Now here we have the 4 different wheels of a static mesh, and also we have the whole other car static mesh. Now what we'll do is we'll open the blueprint class of our main car that we have. Yeah, this is a sports car that we have as our main car, and we'll click this viewport, and after that we'll select this car, and here we have this static mesh, and here we'll drag our Lamborghini that we just imported here. Now here you can see the position of our new car is not perfect. Now we just need to adjust the position something like this. We have to play with this tail, move and rotate to fit its position, something like this. Now we will rotate it to the 180-degree radius. Yeah, something like this. Now we'll just compile it and we'll see if it's working or not. So now I'll play my game and let's check the logic. Yeah, it's working perfectly fine as you can see, and it's loading nice arrays than before. You can compare the both models of car that we have, the previous one and the recent one. But yeah, you can like compare the white Lamborghini and the previous model that we have. Yeah, our recent model is looking perfectly fine, but this is the process. You have to play with this location, rotation and move tool, and you can play however you want. For the learning purposes, yeah, I told you how to do this process. For the perfectionist, you have to do it by yourself. So yeah, it's working perfectly fine as we wanted it. Now we'll do the same process with our AI task. So we'll open the blueprint class of AI task. But before that, let me import my AI task. So I'll go in TRA models, and here I'll make a new folder and I'll try this URUS, and we'll go inside this, and here I'll drag the AI TRA model. And after dragging and drop the AI TRA model, we just select this import button. Yeah, it's imported, completely done. Now here I have to select this the state mesh, and we have many static mesh here, but let's reload this, so we have to wait a little while. So yeah, we have the state mesh of our car, but here we have different state mesh for our wheels, but we won't mess with our wheels, so we just need our car state mesh. So let me open and see, and yeah, this is we have. I don't know why we don't have any materials on it. Yeah, on the Lamborghini we have the materials all set up, but on this model we don't have any. But we'll fix this issue later on. But for now, we need to do is we have to open our AI Tra blueprint. And this is any AI Tra that we have. And in this viewport, we'll select this star, and then we are going to drag our URUS star that we just imported. We are going to select here the state mesh, and then here we are going to drag and drop. Here I don't know why we don't have any materials set up on our car, but we'll fix this issue. We don't have to worry about this thing, but for now let's move it on the z-axis on 90 something like, and after that we'll move it. So we just need to play with the axis or with tools like move tool, rotate tool, or a scale tool, something like this. Yeah, it's completely fine. Now let's compile this and let's see if it's working or not. So let's dump it to a level and let's play the game. And yeah, as you can see, it's working perfectly fine. But by default, we don't have any material set up, and that's an error and issue that we have to face. But we'll fix it this thing later on. But for now, sounds fun, yeah? It's done. Now we just compile all the things. And yeah, it's working perfectly fine as it should be. Apart from all this, we'll set a different AI cars and we'll give them different colors, so it will be look like more nicer. I guess so. So how can we do that thing? Yeah, we done it. Yeah, we done it. Yeah, we done it. How to change colors, how to set up materials, we just did this thing. Yeah, we done this step. Now how can you set up the whole material? Yeah, we done this process. Now how you can adjust your materials? and how I just set up this thing. All you need to do is you have to go inside this and you have to disconnect this base color. How you disconnect this, hold your control and let me connect this node first. And how you do you disconnect this thing, just hold your control and then click this left mouse button and you just disconnect this point, and all you have to do is after that apply this button. Now I just did this thing with all the materials like this, like here you can draw. I did the same process here, and you have to do this like if you want to set up your materials, like you have to play with every material, like even the last materials I disconnect this node base color and I set up my own material. And it's on you how much you spend your time on this thing, and that's efforts tell about how much materials perfect you set up for your draw. But for now we just have to open the content browser. So if you want to change the our main draw color, so for that we just open the content browser and we went into this content time trial. Yeah, here we have the our main sports draw. So we'll go inside this, and if you select this model, here we have this top end man. So if you want to change the color, you just have to go inside this material and then you can like go into this material instance, and here you can change the color like whatever you want. But before that you have to select this parent, and inside this you have to go for this its parent, and then here we have, and you just need to disconnect this base color and change the draw color. All you need to do is to change the color of our main AI draw, sorry, our main draw. But for me, our main AI draw should be white and it's look perfect for now. So this is a simple process you can do by yourself. Now we'll do the same process with our AI draw. So close this tab for now. So I'll open the content browser again and I'll go for AI draw, but we have here, but I need to open in my content browser. Yeah, here we have our AI draw. Now I'll just click this and then I'll make a duplicate of this draw and I'll rename it by anime AI1. It's look perfectly fine, and I'll go inside this tab and I'll go into this viewport, select our draw, and then what I'll do is let me change my color here, match something like green. Yeah, here you can see like if I change our material color, then the color in anime AI1 draw is changed, but also our anime AI draw main draw, the color is changed. So that's the process. So for this thing, let me go into this section, let me duplicate this number, and after that let me paste it here. So we'll come on our default color that we just set up. So now as you see, if we change our color here, it will happen on our both draws. So for this I'll search into this button and then I'll make a duplicate of this, and yeah, I'll set something like green and then I'll change the color of it, and then I click apply, then I'll drop it to anime AI1 and then I'll just drag this and put it here. Now here you can see we have this thing, but also we'll do the same process with material 2 to change the half color of our draw, and I'll rename it by green 1, and now I'll just select this and copy this number and then open this, and I'll delete this number and I'll paste the number we just copied, and we have to click this apply button too, and after that I'll just read this and put it here. And now as you can see we have the different color, but if you go to our anime AI, then you can see you have the different color. So yeah, this is the process how you change the colors of cars. So now it's done. Now let's test this thing and see if it's working or not. But for let's dump it to a level, and then let me go to the start point. And here what I'll do is I'll trade our other enemy I draw. Yeah, this one, and I'll rotate it to something like this. Now I'll play my game and see if it's working or not. And yeah, we can see it's working perfectly fine. We have both AI cars with different colors playing, and yeah, it's working perfectly fine. Now apart from all this, we are done with almost everything, and congratulations if you have been this far. Honestly, I'm proud of you. Keep doing like this. One day you will make your own project on your own. Things take time, and honestly, good things take more time. By the way, now we need an A racing environment where we'll set the rest of the thing. So for that, let's go to this web market and import the environment from there. So open the content browser and click this web button. And here we are. Now I'll search for rural Australia. And this is the project. And this is the environment we are going to import in our level. So I'll add to project, and you have to select the latest version of it, and you just need to click this add to project button, and it will take a while to download. Yeah, it's done now. Now let's close this and let's come back to our project. And here let me open my level. Now we have the environment inside this rural Australia, and we'll go into this maps, and after that we'll open this rural Australia example 01. Now it will take a while to reload all the meshes and everything, I guess. Yeah, now I hope so it's done now. After this, we can move in this environment with WASD key like this. But if you play the name, let me see. Yeah, you can view the whole environment with WASD key. And if you play this button, yeah, we have the car. We have our main car, and we can play with it. But we don't have any AI cars to start a race with, or we don't have a spline thread where AI start and move and go. Yeah, it's perfectly fine as it loading. It's a huge crash, I guess. Now let's open the content browser and let me create my AI cars. But before that, let me add my players chart, and I'll add somewhere here. Or let me choose my location. Like yeah, it's a perfect location, I guess. I'll choose my players chart here. Yeah, now I'll rate my AI cars. I'll rate this car. Now I'll rotate it. Yeah, like this. And also I'll add this car too. Now let's play the game and see. As you can see, it's just moving in the random direction. Now here we have to see one more thing, like if you go on this world settings, if you don't have world settings here, then you can go on this window tab, and here you have to enable this world settings. Now on the world settings, as you can see, game mode override, and we don't have any game mode here. But if we go back to our previous time trial environment, which we have this, if we open this, then in the world settings, game mode override, here we have the game mode. So I'll search it here, and now I'll place this game mode there. So let me open my maps for Australia. Now I'll go into this variant time trial and blueprints, and this is the game mode. We have set it up, and we just place it here. Now we'll play the game and see how is it. Now as you can see, we have the timer system, speed system, and everything. But still, as you can see, the AI cars are moving in the random direction. But here, one more thing, as you can see, the tire are on the rounds. Then let me lift up and then press Int key on my keyboard to snap it on my round. But still, I don't know why this offering. But yeah, we'll place it somewhere here, and also we'll do the same thing with our this car. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, we are done with this thing. Now let's play the game and see. As you can see, it's working, but we have a little errors because we haven't set up the spline. That's why AI car is moving in the random direction. So now let's read this line and drop it here. But let me move a little bit here, and yeah, somewhere here. Now this is the spline. We just read and drop it here. And now we'll do the same that manual process that we just did already. Hold Alt and left mouse button to duplicate. But let me delete this point here and rotate it somewhere like this. Yeah. Now I'll move it on the Z axis and press Int on my keyboard, and then I'll just press or hold Alt key and left mouse button to move it. But with this, we also need to press Enter on our keyboard to move it or snap it into the ground. Yeah, we are done with our spline thread. Now all we need to do is we have to check if it's working or not. So let's play the game. And yeah, it's working perfectly fine. Now we are done. Yeah, I started the spline thread from middle of the environment or from middle of the road. So that why it's very little, but you can go and start from the start point and make a whole spline thread to the end point. It will look like a pretty much race rim. Yeah, it's working as we wanted, but still we have some warnings because we haven't set up the finish line. So that is one of the things that we need to add. So for that, we'll open the time trial template. But before that, let me show you where the warnings are coming from. So when you play a game and you press a escape key to exit the game mode, and here we have got this warning. You can see it's written here, finish line. Yeah, finish line marker. So for that, let's open the time trial template. Here we need to copy some of the things, like if you go and select this, yeah, this is the finish line gate. It's not a finish line gate, but it's some kind of marker address. So if you select this line in this details panel, as you can see, it's written here next markers. So we have markers line. So this is a needed to trace the finish line. So if you select this straight line and press Ctrl B, it will take you the BP underscore trade gate. Now we'll open our rural Australia environment again and we'll read this gate there. Now here we will grade our gate here. Yeah, this is the BP trade gate that we have. Yeah, the position or in location it's not the perfectly fine, so we have to rotate it something like this, and we can also scale it. Yeah, like this. Now we'll grade and other grade. Now we'll go back to our first one, and here we'll select this, and here in the details panel we will click this on the pan, and then we will select this BP threaded 2. Now like this, we'll do the same process, but we'll make sure the next make the next smarter as we progress. Now we'll make a different thread dates here, and we'll select the our previous one and click the next marker, and we'll select our next date. So here I'll put in other date. So now we'll scale it, yeah, like this, and I'll rotate it too, yeah, something like this. Yeah, now all we need to do is we have to select our previous date, and let me drag this marker, and then we have to select our next one, and now we will make in other somewhere here. For that, let me select this and press Ctrl B to find my thread date, and all we need to do is we have to rotate it and scale it. Yeah, now we'll select our previous date and select this marker, yeah, like this. Now we'll make a date here too. Yeah, we are done with every thread date that we wanted to, but we just need to select this last thread date and make sure in the details panel you select this finish line. Like you have to enable this thing because we want this to be the finish line, because the moment we cross this thread date, our game will be over, like we will win the game. So now we are done with this. Now we'll check how is it working. You may feel like, why are we checking logic again and again? Because in the game development industry, we have to check every single time. If we mess up somewhere, we'll know it soon. Otherwise, all the efforts we have put in, it will be wasted, and that overwhelming feeling, it's like you feel like wasted completely. Like you worked on a thing for entire day, and in the end, you came to know logic is not working anymore. You feel like shit at that moment. So avoiding that feeling, we used to check every time the moment we said something new. Hope you got it. So now we will check this thing. We are almost done with every single thing that we need to do, but still there's something that we have to set up, and that is you want widget. Now we have to make you want widget. So for that, let's open the content browser, and here I'll make a new folder, and I'll call this widget, and we'll go inside this folder, Now here we'll right click anywhere here and we'll add a widget blueprint. And I'm gonna call this u underscore one u1 widget blueprint and we'll go inside this. Now here we'll add the canvas panel. And after this we'll add a text block. Now here we'll select the enter in the middle and then I'll rename the name text block to u1. And you can play with the color and opacity and I'll do like something greenish, something like this. You can draw with any other color whatever you want. And also we'll go inside this font and we'll increase the font something like this, and also make sure to enable this thing. Yeah, yeah, this much is perfect I guess. And now you can also change the font or import it from your internet. As I told you earlier, you can do whatever you want, but for now I'll keep it by default. And also you can play with the size. Yeah, it's nice I guess. And after this, yeah, you can also give to shadow color to any different color. I'll go with light red. Yeah, you can play with these settings, but for now we'll add a blur. Now make sure to select this background blur and make it enter to full size like this. Now I'll increase the blend strength to full, but you have to make sure to parent this. Yeah, we are done. Now I'll compile this and then we'll open the threaded blueprint. So now let me delete this, sorry, close this, and then we'll select this threaded and press Ctrl and B on your keyboard to find it. And here you can see this is the worst condition. If this is the finished line, if its condition is true, then after this we'll turn it this increment left round to create widget. And here I'll keep the u1 widget, and after that we'll turn it this to add to viewport. Sorry. And we'll also turn it this return value to target. And now we'll compile this. Now we are almost done with everything. Now we'll just compile that we did. And now let's come back to our level and let's play the game and see if it's working or not. Yeah, we have some errors here and we need to fix those errors. Yeah, I found the error why we were facing that error. So for that, we just need to do one more thing. We have to select our last finish line, and then we have to select our marker, and then we have to select our previous one, and we are done. So now let's play again and see if it's working or not. Yeah, it's working perfectly fine. As you can see, we have the you won widget in the end of our finish line, and yeah, it's pretty much this. And also, I would appreciate you if you did this thing a little too far, like you made spline thread little too much better and made little more, sorry, and made duplicate the tasks and have a rest with them. Yeah, you can do this by your own. So yeah, it's working perfectly as we wanted. So thank you so much for watching this video and meet you in our new course.